You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, this is Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with a great podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for being here once again. Remember, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, the best kind of family there is. If, I don't know, that is the best kind of family there is. But you need to quit calling me for child support. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Unless you can prove a DNA test. You're just in the family. Doesn't mean that we procreated. Although I'm sure many of you want to. And clearly you haven't seen my face on the video. You're just listening to the audio version. Once you see my face, you'll probably change your mind on that procreation part. Anyways, thanks for being here. Be sure to, of course, subscribe to the show. Go to LinkedIn, our big LinkedIn newsletter that's over there. There's several different groups and features that we have. The big LinkedIn group as well, 122,000 people. You want to follow that as well. All of our groups, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those crazy places the kids are playing. Also go to youtube.com/Chris Voss, hit the bell notification button. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, tune in to see all of our wonderful authors we have on the show. Just an amazing setup. And go to chrisvossleadershipinstitute.com. There's endless places you can go to be part of the family. Today we have an amazing gentleman on the show. We're going to be talking to him about his company and everything else. Harrison P. Is it Lyss? Pronounced Lyss?
Lyss, yes, sir.
There you go. Harrison P. Lyss is on the show with us. He's the principal at JeffWorks. And we're going to be talking about his company, what he does, some of his styles of leadership, and how he leads, et cetera, et cetera. Harrison joined NRDC in 2016 and currently serves as a managing director, where he's responsible for various disciplines, including leasing, asset management, entitlements, and development. His primary charge is to enhance the financial performance of the NRDC portfolio of real estate projects across a broad range of asset types. Prior to NRDC, he worked at the GHP Office Realty, a leading owner, operator, and purchaser of suburban Class A style office and flex properties in the greater New York area. He's received a BS in economics from the University of Arizona and his MS in real estate development from New York University. He's probably in there too. Welcome to the show, Harrison. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Chris? Thanks for having me.
Good. It's wonderful to have you on. And wow, you've done a lot of stuff. Great bio. Give us the .com for, I guess, the launch of JeffWorks, and we'll be talking about that today.
Sure, JeffWorksApp.com.
There you go. And do you want to plug the other, anything else? Is that?
I mean, more or less. So NRDC, we're real estate guys by nature, but we're here today talking about our new project, which is JeffWorks. It's a co-working vertical that we've launched, and we've rolled out 2 locations in shopping centers that we own in New Jersey and Connecticut.
Awesome sauce. So give us an overview. What is JeffWorks and what does it do?
So JeffWorks is it's a value-oriented co-working space. You know, as I'm sure if you're paying attention, co-working has sort of exploded in the pre-pandemic and post-pandemic era. And we have sort of created a value-oriented, convenience-based co-working brand that's geared towards the retail environment and is membership-based in nature.
Nice.
Yeah.
So does this compete with some of the other people that are doing the co-working space?
It does. You know, it's not necessarily a full office solution or it's more of a third place, if you will. It's somewhere to go to get out of the house for a few hours when you're working from home. Really what we noticed during COVID is working from home is hard and people like to get out. So we have located our locations are near where the employees live, and it's somewhere for people to go for a few hours a day, couple days a week. And we've priced it as such that, we can be an enterprise offering, but it's also priced in a way that employees themselves can see the value and pay for it on their own, out of their own pocket.
There you go. When did you launch this?
So we launched this in 2021, around Q4.
There you go. And what makes you guys different than some of the co-working spaces that are out there? I think you've kind of touched on one or two items.
Yeah, two of them. The big ones are value and convenience.
Mhm.
We're not really in urban centers like the WeWorks of the world. Our two locations are in traditional shopping centers, exterior mall where people go for their daily goods, whether it be for a coffee shop or home goods or things like that. Pick up a pizza and you could be there. And we think that co-working blends really well in the retail environment.
And there you go. I'm looking at your website, and it looks like you have two places open now. You have Connecticut and New Jersey. Do you plan on expanding throughout the country?
We do.
Mhm.
We, there's always some tinkering involved, and I'm happy to talk to you about some of the evolution of JeffWorks and what our offering what it started as and what we sort of have transitioned to or blended with the initial offering.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Let's do that.
Yeah. So what started as our standard offering is a $15 a month hot desk. So, low cost, high volume membership, sort of like the Planet Fitness model of co-working, where people don't feel like they got to go every day to get the value. It's something that, it's priced like 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks, but it's a place that you're comfortable with and you can sort of have a sense of community with the other members and things like that. And if you go, 1 or 2 days a month, you don't feel so guilty about not using it.
Yeah.
And sort of what we found, interestingly enough, is, people are using it, sort of the utilization expectations have held true, but there have been a lot of requests for more dedicated type services, sort of a more elevated offering. So we just rolled out a $100 a month dedicated desk offering where, you sign up for a month, you pay $100 and you get dual monitors in your own desk where you can leave belongings. You have printing services, things of that nature. That's more in line with a full service office solution at a much more aggressive price than the Regises of the world or the WeWorks of the world.
I noticed that I think the lower plan has free coffee, at least the New Jersey place. So, I mean, if you're, for $15 a month, that's, for some people, that is a stop at one stop.
You get a Starbucks and you spend $50 before you ever leave.
Yeah, you can go to your place and get the coffee for free for their, the same $15 you'd spend for one stop. You get like the coffee, then you get like, a scone, and then you get like, I used to get breakfast sandwiches there. It's just so awful. What are some amenities that are inside the space? And I'm looking at the pictures on the website, and it's a really beautiful space. There's looks like there's some private meeting space. There's even one of those enclosures that I've seen that Silicon Valley offers where it's kind of like a phone booth.
Phone booths. Yeah. So we've got a number of private meeting spaces. So for $15 a month, you have unfettered access to the open hot desk space, if you will, where we've got, between 40 and 60 desks varying based on the location. And if you needed to have a breakout room for a meeting, you can book meetings for an additional price, all within the Jeff app, where we've got, smart locks on 6 meeting rooms, and you want to reserve your room, you just pop on the app, block it off for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it may be. You get a digital key, you touch the key to the door, it opens for only you during that period of time.
There you go.
Charges the account that you have, the card that you have on file with your account.
These are great. When I tried to write my first book in 2011, I realized that I couldn't work at home. And I live by myself. I have 2 dogs, and I haven't been able to afford the divorces yet. So I'm still waiting to get married. I'm saving up. But so I would go to Starbucks, and this is, long before this concept of co-working came up. I would go to Starbucks and start working on my book. And I found that I was highly productive, because the problem is when you're at home, this is what this resolves. When you're at home, if you've got family, a wife and kids, they're constantly, hey, how's it going, Dad? Or Mom, for me, my dogs hustle me. So, they'll come in wanting treats or wanting to play, they bring the ball. And then there's just so much stuff at the house that can take you away from what you need to do. Your friend calls you up and goes, hey, you want to go play some video games for an hour? And you're like, oh, I just take an hour off. And then, you end up at the end of the day and didn't do anything. Yeah. You're like, hey, I need to clean the sink, or, there's like a million things that can distract you. And the nice thing about the co-working spaces and going to one is you can hone your stuff. You don't have the distractions. If your friend calls you and says you want to do video games, you're like, hey man, I'm not at home to play with you. So yeah, you're gonna have to go do whatever. And sometimes it can really get you focused on what you need to take and do.
Totally. I think one of the big things we noticed is, look, I mean, COVID sort of changed the way people work in a lot of ways for the better. But I think one thing that's clear is, remote work, working from home has its own set of challenges. And we wanted to offer a comfortable place for people to go that's near home, but isn't at home, where they can get out and sort of find their focus, which is one of the taglines we've experimented with a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere to just go that's a third place that isn't there. Maybe it's not their full service office or their home office, but it's just somewhere to go for a few hours when you want to change the scenery, get out of the house. We think the space that we've created is really conducive to getting work done.
There you go. And for the $99 a month at the Jersey location, I think this is at, does it vary from location to place, location to location?
That offering, the standard like dedicated desk offering, does not. It's $99 a month, gets you your own dedicated desk with dual monitors for you to plug in your laptop to.
Wow.
So we've set it up about 30 desks at each location. We have the capacity for 30 dedicated desks. And the idea is that people maybe will have more utilization there. Maybe they're there 3 to 5 days a week for, 5 to 8 hours at a time. And that desk is theirs. They can leave items on their desk. They have lockers and things like that. They've got printing services. They get, unlimited use of the phone booths, which for hot desk members are an additional. And then they still have access to the overall space, the soft seating areas and meeting rooms as well if they need it.
There you go. And it gives you a virtual office business address too. So you can use that as your business address, have packages delivered, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Those are good to have because, you don't want people showing up at your house. You're like, hey, here's my home address on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Show
And
my house.
That was one of the things we found. We got a lot of requests for virtual assistants and virtual office when we opened, and we weren't really set up for it. So this is sort of a new offering that allows us to layer that in.
Do you guys do package forwarding and stuff like that?
We do. We do mail forwarding.
Nice. Those are always good to have, especially if you want to open an office in multiple locations.
Totally.
And make it appear like you're everywhere, if you
will.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I mean, Vegas is a great place for that too. Just about anywhere. I mean, if you want to have a California, LA, New York sort of address sort of thing, you can do that. But these are really popular because, like I say, you get away. You get focused on what you do. And, I've worked from home since 2004, I think it is.
Oh,
and
before it was cool.
Yeah. Before it was cool. Once my last partner and I broke up, I realized that I was saving so much freaking money getting rid of him that I could work from home. And so I replaced him with a secretary. He was doing that much work.
Right.
But, I'm really bad. I'm still bad to this day where I don't do 8 hours of work clearly. And I'm known for screwing around and, I get to the end of my day and I'm like, I really need to work harder. And so, but a lot of my money's made off the internet. So in consulting and stuff. So it just comes to you 24/7, but you still, there's stuff you want to accomplish every day. And so being able to go somewhere and focus is definitely something I need. How do you see the rollout going out? Are you guys gonna take over all the locations yourself? Is there any franchising you guys are offering or sort of opportunities if somebody has got a building, say in, someplace around the nation, they can contact you?
Totally. So, we did 2 in shopping centers that we own. And the intent is that we want to really fine tune the offering and sort of franchise them to other landlords as well. It's a good way to, rising tides lift all boats. If we're successful, it helps lease the space next door. It sort of helps the coffee guy down at the end of the strip center sell more coffee, that sort of thing.
Nice. And I mean, if people maybe have a building or they're trying to get a space, this is probably a really interesting thing to have right now because I don't know, how is the commercial leasing space going these days? I mean, I know that there's a big rebellion where a lot of people really don't want to come back to the office. If you're a company that's, owns a big office, you got, you're trying to get people to come back and they're like, no, we don't want to. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, sure. And look, office is sort of going through a bit of a transformation, but we've been fortunate to remain pretty heavily well leased over the past couple of years, and I don't think the need for office space is going away so fast. Employee needs are changing and desires are changing. The way people want to work are changing. I mean, there are people now that I think after all this time there's a big contingency of people that would only really consider jobs that have a hybrid, a little bit more flexibility. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
The thing is, a lot of companies I know, and this started before the pandemic in the tech world, a lot of my friends would build apps and run them with literally developers as employees around the world. So, they'd have one guy in, I don't know, Sri Lanka, or another guy in Japan, another guy somewhere in the middle of Europe. And, they'd have a whole crew of people that they'd assembled and do their work with. And they were you'd get pretty efficient at it. I had friends that were running stuff in Australia, and basically they just get on a call and do it. And it, all this telecommuting made the world a lot smaller. Companies that want to adapt to this could probably take advantage of hiring people and just say, go to this co-work space if that's your area, and off you go.
Yeah. And look, I mean, we're not, we didn't set out to be a replacement to the traditional office. There are some of our members that have found it to be that use it more than others. But generally, we're finding that, people like to come in for a couple hours a week here and there. They like the sense of community. They like some of the events that we put on, which I'm happy to talk more about. And that, it's just a good third place to go.
So tell us more about the community.
So we do these like member spotlight events where we'll have, one of our members at a location could come in and give a talk sort of thing. And we will open it up oftentimes outside of just the member base. So it sort of gives a chance for our members to cross promote amongst each other. And you get to talking, and the guy that you've seen there a few times in the past month might be a potential client of yours or vice versa. And it's been a very good lead generation tool for us when we open it up to the outside community. And then our members always appreciate having, somewhere to go to spotlight their own business.
And you guys do business networking events as well?
We do.
Awesome sauce. Yeah. Now you guys have a Jeff Works app. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we NRDC partnered with Mr. Jeff Labs, which is sort of like an omni-channel franchising platform that operates in different verticals, all on lifestyle needs based. So like they're in laundry and fitness and salons, and we partnered with them to launch a co-working vertical. So they helped us, they built out an app, they've done a great job. And sort of it allows us to operate more hands-off, sort of a clean user experience where all of the payments get managed within the app and the booking of meeting rooms get managed within the app. And it allows us to push out these networking events to our members and that sort of thing where it's not just, emailing and phone calls all the time.
So can people schedule coming into the office or, say, hey, I want this when I show up or whatever?
Totally.
They want the phone booth, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. You block off a phone. Let's say you've got you're conducting an interview. You're a member, you book a meeting room. It's a 4-person meeting room. You book it from, 3 to 5 on Tuesday, the 12th. And from that time, you get a digital key, you touch your phone to the smart lock. And from that time, from 3 to 5, your phone is the only phone that can open that door.
Wow. That's pretty handy.
Yeah.
This isn't worse than when you show up at some place and you've got like a place reserved and you're like, crap, somebody's already got it. So you can do that right through the app.
I did it this morning. I had a meeting at a coffee shop and it's like, you got to get there 20 minutes early because you're stressed out about, am I going to get a table? Is it going to be too loud? That sort of thing. So we think this solves for a lot of different uses for a lot of different people.
And there you go. I mean, this is really the future of business. Like I said, I've been doing it since 2004. When everyone started doing it, I'm like, I kind of felt like I was invaded. I was like,
yeah,
you guys all think this is a new thing?
Yeah.
No, I've been doing it for years. I can work anywhere in the world as long as I got Wi-Fi, and even then the internet will keep going if I'm off Wi-Fi for a few hours or asleep or whatever. But 24/7, man, it's crazy. I never thought before, with all the companies we own, I never thought I'd sell stuff internationally or have international audience and stuff until, the internet opened up with social media and stuff, and then things really changed. So you've been running NT since 2016. Of course, you did stuff before that. Talk to us about what leadership is for you, or what your leadership style is that you use with your folks and to lead your organization. And people.
Well, how about I'll speak to sort of at Jeff Works. I think it's always important to incentivize people to, treat people, give people a sense of ownership over their work, that sort of thing. So we've got some interesting metrics for managing lead generation, things of that nature, and how people are compensated. And we try not to micromanage.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you've ever liked reading on leadership or managing or stuff? You've been to school for it, but any authors or anything that you've enjoyed reading?
I can't think of anything that comes to mind.
There you go.
I got to look at your stuff, Chris.
We'll send you out a copy of my book.
Yeah.
Beacons of Leadership for you. It's just one of those things where a lot of people, they want to go the next level with their lives and what they're doing. People can lead from anywhere. So they can lead from co-working spaces. They can lead from an office. I think more and more, I'm kind of surprised the resistance I've seen at people wanting to go back to an office. And then a lot of people in, like, for example, the tech space, they kind of told them for a year or two that they could move around. And like, I know a lot of people that moved from California, Silicon Valley to like Las Vegas or Austin. And then they're like, hey, you got to come back in the office. And like, hey, I already moved, man.
Yeah. A lot of people, I'm sure, the world has changed. How people work has changed for better or for worse. And there needs to be some element of there's more elements of flexibility than I think we initially contemplated. But I think that sort of lends itself to this third place model.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. For companies, they have so many different ways to monitor if their business. I'd almost rather have an employee, if they want to be remote, using a co-working space than knowing they're working at home. I don't know. I would see companies might want to pay for the space and say, hey, we're paying for you to go to your booth. We need to see you checking in on wherever the thing. I can see companies do that.
Yeah. We'd love to, as we sort of reach scale, see more enterprise type solutions for, employers offering this, so that it's more of a hub and spoke, where it's like, hey, we want you to come into the city or wherever it may be to the home office one day a week, and then go bop around, or a couple days a month, and then go bop around to the Jeff Works location that's right by your house.
Yeah, I can see enterprise being a lot something that they would do, because then you can get people to work anywhere in the nation, but you can know that they're at least in the office. They're not screwing around at home. Yeah. I don't know. Sitting around naked eating Dorito chips on a beanbag like I do on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. You're like, we know they were at the office, a co-working space for the
there's nobody naked eating Doritos on a beanbag at Jeff Works.
And that's one of the benefits. And
exactly.
yeah, that's if you got roommates, you might have to endure that. So this is another reason to get a co-working space.
Exactly.
If you got roommates and they're doing that, you might want to, I don't know, get your own place.
Yeah.
Anything more we need to touch on with Jeff Works and all that good stuff?
No, I just would definitely encourage everybody to take a look at our website and kind of see the offerings that we got going on. And if you're interested in hearing more, we'd love to connect with you.
There you go. Well, it's been wonderful to have you on. Thank you very much, Harrison. We certainly appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. And give us your .coms wherever you want people to find you guys on the interwebs.
jeffworksapp.com.
There you go. And thanks, Modest, for tuning in. Be sure to go to youtube.com, hit that subscription button, go to LinkedIn, our big newsletter over there, all of our groups on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those crazy places. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Chris.